I'm sorry about the jump cuts here, and this is just about my experience with political type attacks, and I hope and using Hunter and Frank and roaming as sort of a jump off point. So I hope you like the video. Thanks.
Speaking of, I guess, like ignorance, the Project Veritas videos. You guys seen them? Hopefully, righteously indignant about them.
Yes. Oh my God, the Project Veritas videos. I don't know how much more proof you need to give these Hillary supporters like a dose of reality, because with that, pretty much you can just prosecute, the whole organization. It's right there. Like I don't know what else you can do to make them see the truth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I've seen a lot about it. I know what happened, but I haven't actually seen the whole video yet. I've seen parts of it, though.
Okay, well, for people who are watching who haven't seen it, the Project Veritas tapes, if you haven't seen it, look it up. There's 3 of them in the series now. They just released one today. That one wasn't as scandalous, I don't know. But there was one about voter fraud, sort of the DNC being complicit with this other organization, to try and get unregistered or ineligible voters to vote. And another one was about them purposefully trying to incite violence at Trump rallies by, to, I guess, aggravate the crowd, which we saw people reporting on earlier this year. So it was kind of just like this expose about the corruption that's going on right now within the Hillary Clinton campaign. And 2 people, well, one person has been fired because of it, and another person has resigned.
Bob Creamer resigned. He stepped down.
Yeah, Creamer resigned. So the people who were featured in the video, one was fired, one resigned.
Bob Creamer, who actually has been to the White House like 340 times, has met with the president like 40 something times. He was in charge of the organization. Like he actually got his orders from Clinton, and he worked pretty much on the ground doing these attacks at Trump rallies. He stepped down.
That's ridiculous. Now, I did hear a lot about that, and that's where they beat up that lady. You saw that picture of her like this with the eggs all over her. That was all planned by Hillary Clinton. It's
Yeah, but actually, that the first video, especially about the voter fraud, it blew up. I think it got over 3 million views.
Oh yeah, it was on trending. It was trending and everything, which is good. I'm glad.
Which is great, but even at that, during the last presidential debate, I think I tweeted something about the election being rigged, and I got all these Hillary Clinton supporters being like, just because your candidate is looting doesn't mean it's rigged. And it's no, the fact that there's proof that it's rigged makes it rigged. A lot of people hadn't heard about these tapes still, or they just dismissed them.
Isn't it funny that it's the Trump tapes are everywhere because he said something mildly rude for way back 11 years ago in a private conversation, and everyone cares, but then real
10 years
tapes.
Ago.
Yeah, and then real tapes are released showing actual voter fraud and corruption, and everyone's like, meh.
Nobody wants to say nothing about it.
I know.
I'm just glad that it actually made it to Fox, and finally from there it went to CNN and to all the major networks.
Hello, Hunter, Roaming, and Frank. Conversation in my past is relevant to the new type of bird dogging that is happening today. I went through a mobbing and gang stalking experience that has the telltale signs of bird dogging called street theater. It looks very much like what was on the Project Veritas tapes, or what they talked about on the Project Veritas tapes. I believe many of these same attack groups that attack the politicians are also used to attack individuals by companies, unions, organized crime, and many other groups. I mean, if you had this talent to harass people and could sell it by the hour or sell it by the attack, why would you keep it only for political purposes? What would the people do who coordinate these attacks when the political season isn't there anymore? Would they just give up all this income stream? If there is money to be made out there, the harassing individuals in the mobbing or gang stalking way, of course they'd go in and get that money and get paid for harassing someone. During one of the attacks used against me, I tried to reason with my harasser. I told him that these attacks are going to be used for political purposes and destroy freedom of speech. He said these types of attacks already are. I told him about the promise that the attack against me would use children and abuse them even in a sexual way. He said that those type of attacks were being tested as a new way to destroy people who go against them politically or in other ways. And I was one of the first guinea pigs of these type of attacks. I was working at a union shop at the time, and that is where the harassment started and this conversation happened. So I assume it was just a union thing, although it could have been for the Democratic Party, or it could have been for an individual. I have no idea. He continued to tell me what was in the works because he thought no one would ever believe me anyway. He said that their attack group was setting up attack scenarios to use on certain political or individual person types. He gave the example of a person type who is a single young man starting in politics and is way too effective and charismatic. These are not the exact words, but this was the gist. He then explained how the scenario would play out. They would get a girl in the orbit of this guy, and to get her to be his girlfriend and her friend with benefits, she would then gain his trust. Once she did that, she would give him a present of a menage a trois. Soon after, the girlfriend would leave the political adversary, possibly even with the pictures of that night. Then the bottom would come. The extra girl's mother, which was in the menage a trois, would surface with the girl, only to find out the girl was like 13 or 14. The mother would falsely be furious, because every interaction with the girlfriend and every interaction with 13 or 14-year-old girl would be street theater and so-called a new bird dogging experience. But of course, the guy running for political office wouldn't know this. He would have no idea. The mother would tell him to get out of politics altogether, and that she would leave him alone, but only if he stays away from politics. If he doesn't, then she will press with the pictures and with his story. So either way, he's going to lose the election. In one scenario, he loses without his freedom. In the other scenario, he walks away and he loses, but he still has his freedom. So a dangerous enemy of the union is dangerous no more. I asked him how he would find these women and girl. He said most likely they would all be prostitutes. And he said even without the prostitutes, there are always some real believers who are willing to do anything to help our cause, especially if there's some money in it for them. This is why he told me they will allow anyone to participate in these attacks. This is when I finally believed that he was telling me the truth. With mentally ill people and those who are criminals doing the attacking, it is impossible for me to see that there will be any uncrossable moral or lawful lines. You just have to find the right people to do the harassing. Then I asked him which political party or why a political party would want to have this kind of exposure. He said that is why there is a wall between us and the people who are paying our bills. He told me that the chance of finding out about the attacks at all by the targeted politician was very slim. The possible politician would have to draw the connection or collusion between the mother of the girl and the girlfriend whom he rightfully trusted. And even if he did have any suspicion of the collusion, the proof is all now but gone. Since no one is contacting him unless he has the audacity to keep on going with this campaign, which very few men will, knowing that they actually did the action. Especially, he said, since the meeting between the three will be seen like pure chance. That the girlfriend and the politician were out together, and they just met this young woman in the bar or a party or something. And if the girlfriend keeps on acting like, hey, this is a new person I'm just meeting, I've never met this girl before, he would almost look crazy to assume it's a setup. He would never believe his girlfriend would do that to him because he trusted her. And once you trust somebody, you believe you have a good read on them. And since you believe you have a good read on them, you would never believe that they would do something this horrible to you. The guy I was talking to, who was controlling the attack against me, kind of did a synopsis or a small ending to us talking. He said it kind of like this. The politician running for office is not going to tell. he can go to jail. The prostitutes do not care, and they are paid, or their pimps who are paid are going to make sure they don't talk. The person who ran the street theater or bird dogging isn't telling because he still has a job. So why would he tell if he's going to get paid more for doing the job over and over again? The person, organization, or party who paid for it did not even know how or why the guy left the race because of the need for separation. So there's no reason for him to know that child abuse was done or that child sexual assaults were done. They don't have to know anything. So who's telling? It just becomes everybody's little secret, and the secrets are what's really powerful. I then tried to get him away from this kind of thinking. I told him it would cost way too much to do something like this. It won't be worth one politician to pay this much money. He said it would cost him about 10 grand. It'd be a bargain considering what a really good political candidate would do against us, and how expensive it is to run a campaign anyway. He said it costs a few bucks a voter. He does some math and explains, this guy in office and this guy you don't want in office. It's very somewhat competitive as an election, so you don't know who's going to win. In a town of 40,000, it costs about 20,000 grand at least to run for mayor. And after that is spent, it's a crapshoot. Or you can spend $10,000 and guarantee an almost too easy election when the other guy has to bow out for personal reasons. So you just won the election for a third of the price. I would like to add that when I say the girlfriend gains his trust, I also mean she finds any weaknesses she can exploit in some way. So a street theater attack is an outline that gets filled in with the particulars of the target politician that is studied by the girlfriend or by other people in the attack. After being in it for a while, you start to see the signs of the setup. But the first few street theater meetings or attacks, you really don't. So it's very easy to get drawn into something really horrific in the beginning without thinking you're going to be drawn into it. Just so you know, I've kind of paraphrased the above conversation I had with someone a while ago. I'm very close to what really happened. I can honestly tell you that. I remember it pretty well because it really scared me and it made me think of the dangers of our democratic system falling around our ankles and not being able to protect anyone anymore. And it was a new political attack using child sex slaves as attack fodder. I hope everyone who hears this is willing to tell others what I told you, or is willing to listen to this YouTube video and pass it around. There are no reasons that a blindfold attack needs to have any decorum or rules for that attack that is used or have used, because if they have enough power and enough control, and they're in enough control of their own situation, they can get away with anything. And admittedly, being able to use people who are criminals and the mentally ill means anything can really mean anything, even child trafficking, even child sexual abuse. I've even heard and seen adults, families using their own children in this way. They're protected. They are protected politically and connected with people in power. It's like having a get out of jail free card. And nobody knows about these attacks the way I do. And I don't think anyone understands how far this may eventually go. To be honest with you, if someone asked me, did the Democrat Party and unions actually promote child trafficking and child sexual slavery through street theater attacks? I'd say, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And I would have to probably say 70-80% they probably did. So I hope you guys send this around, and I hope you guys listen to this. Thanks a lot.